are still figuring it out. If where you are today is enough, if what you've achieved makes you happy, somewhere between childhood dreams and adult expectations, we learn to measure ourselves with marks, with milestones, with labels. Every child is born extraordinary, not loud, not polished, not always fluent, but extraordinary in their own way. But we start measuring them too early with tools too narrow and labels too permanent. For over a decade, I have worked at the intersection of child development and classroom design for young learners to accommodate their needs, to include them, not only because it is the most important part of their foundational years, but also because it shapes their identity. But even today, a lot of classrooms are designed around control rather than curiosity, compliance rather than creativity. We standardize speed, we reward stillness, and we compare labels. And slowly, subtly, children begin to shrink. They get scared. They want to be understood. There's no such thing as an average child, only a child who is not seen clearly yet. I know this because I was once one of them. When long words appeared on the board, my chest tightened. When I was asked to read aloud in class, I felt scared. When I forgot names mid-sentence, heat rushed to my face. And I became very quiet. I wanted to hide. And by the age of 7, I was not only struggling with reading, I was struggling to find myself. This is me. I was 7 here. If you look at my picture, you won't see anxiety, you won't see working memory overload. You won't see hundreds of thoughts going on in my head. All you will see a child looking at you smiling. I was labeled average. Average. Sounds harmless, right? Sounds neutral. But for a child, it becomes a ceiling. It becomes your identity. And when anxiety comes into picture, it blocks access to learning. Working memory shrinks, recall becomes inconsistent. Words blur out. Even language seems difficult than it actually is. Years later, something changed. I started understanding some things. A loud child gets attention. A disruptive child gets intervention. But what about a withdrawn child? A withdrawn child, she gets misread, forgotten, lost. So I started reading, not for grades, not to get recognized, not to be seen in class, just to understand. And something changed. I started working on myself. I realized instead of asking this question that what is wrong with me, I should be asking, how can my brain learn best? Slowly fear left me. And when fear left the room, I started understanding better. I became more confident. I started making more friends. I became better at conversations with my friends. And I started working on myself. I educated myself before I educated others. I started reading slowly, deliberately. Started helping myself by recording myself and listening back. Not with shame, but with strategy. I took myself to rooms that intimidated me, rooms like this one. And today I stand here that my 10, 16, even 25-year-old self would have been terrified of. Not to erase my difference, but to embrace it, to work on it. I started studying, I got my master's, I got a job, I got married, and I had a son. This is my beautiful family, very close to my heart this picture is. And this is my husband, my 4-year-old son Anay, and myself. Now, I was again scared that, what happened with me as a child, what I went through should not happen to my child, and my child should not go through all this again. So me and my husband, we collaborated. We worked towards creating psychological safety for our child. We started having conversations with him. We identified his strengths at early age. What is identifying strengths? Not whether he become a doctor or something else in future, but understanding what he really likes doing. He likes playing in the sand, let him write in the sand. If he likes to go on picnics or to zoos to understand more about animals and their habitats, let's take him to the zoo. We helped him by creating a net around him, a cushion around him wherein he can confide in us. Now today if I ask you to draw a house for me, I'm sure we all will draw the same house, that one house with one door, two windows, two mountains in the background, and to be precise, 3 birds flying in the sky, and a well, of course. We will all draw the same house. Why? Because we were taught to draw that house. This is how, I've never lived in such a house. I don't know who this house belongs to. But if I ask my son to draw a house today, first question that he'll ask me is why? Why do you want me to draw a house? And if I can answer this question for him, he'll ask me, what kind of a house do you want me to draw, Mama? An igloo, a hut, a bungalow, a mansion, a flat? What kind of a house? So today in this generation of Gen Zs and Gen Alphas and Gen Betas coming along, we need to have answers for our children. Because they will ask us questions, which is their right. We cannot be those tiger parents like our parents were. We have to be dolphin parents. We have to accommodate their questions and have answers for them. So me and my husband, we work towards it, and we are trying to help him. So we don't know whether our son will become a doctor or a pilot or an astronaut or even a scuba diving instructor for that matter. That's his choice. But what we can do for him is give him a safety net. If he is scared about something, he should always be able to come to us and confide in us. I have read this beautiful book, The Whole Brain Child. In this book, the authors talk about 12 strategies on parenting. And I've liked 2 things about these strategies. One is reason to reason. They say make up stories, spend time with your children. We all are busy, we are all working, we are all busy in our house, at office, we are all stressed. But me and my husband, we have created this thing at home, rule, 11-11 rule, wherein we spend 11 minutes in the morning and 11 minutes at night without any interruptions, without TV, no screen time, nothing, only with our son. Sometimes he talks, sometimes we talk, sometimes he listens. But our day ends on a positive note. He feels heard. That's what we should do as educators and as parents at school as well as at home. And always try and spend time with each other. Enjoy your time together as family. Family can be anywhere. It can be at home. It can be at workplace as well, right? We have a lot of friends at workplace. So spend time with each other. Because one day your children will grow up, have their own family. I'm sure they should also take this from us, and he will also spend 11 minutes with his family. Now I want to circle back to my first question. Is everybody happy with where they are today? If not, today is the day we start working on it. Because vision boards sounds very cliche, right? But one thing if you change in a year, after a year, if there's one thing that you've achieved, be it a small thing, one step at a time, but work towards it. That change will make you very, very happy, no matter what age you start in. You have to change something. Stagnancy is not good for anybody. So start working on your fears, embrace your flaws, and become what you've always wanted to become. Today is the day. Thank you.